Greetings. This is Stacia Bliss, the Kundalini Queen, helping you manage your life force energy. Right now I'm outside. I am literally interfacing with the greatest manifestation of life force that we have to observe, and that is the sunshine. The sunshine is full power, and it gives itself to us in waves. So we get an increase of this sunlight throughout the day, and we get a decrease, and then we get a disappearance of it for a time. So I love how nature is an awesome teacher about how to manage life force energy. And you notice, like, if you live in different areas of the world, and those days that you have only day all the time, it demands a different level of your presence than, say, a place where you have darkness all the time. So just with the example of the sun, the way you experience the sun, and even with seasons and clouds and rain and all this stuff, we get a certain experience of the sun's life force energy. And I think it's a great teacher for us when we look at our lives. And I often get the question, am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? Like, how do I do this? Am I hyper focusing on my healing process? Like, am I being too lazy? Do I need to focus more? And the answer comes from nature. That's why nature is such the great assister in the integration of more and more frequencies, because we can observe nature and we can receive this awareness that, the ebbing and flowing is important. There's going to be times in your life you feel more like summer, you feel more full power, and you're really in a thing. And then there's going to be times you withdraw and you're quieter and you integrate. And this cycle is overlapping and repeating in every areas of our lives, And it's not the same bandwidth in each area. So where, like in your, let's say, exercise routine, you might be very, very consistent for a long period of time, and you ebb and flow only in, like, taking a day off, twice a week or something. Or your cycle's more stretched out and you work out once a week, or you work out every day and then you take a week off every 6 weeks. Or, our job right now in managing our life force energy really comes to figuring out what is natural for you, for only you. Because no one else has your exact biorhythm with nature. No one was born at the exact moment, at the exact place. Okay, maybe one or two people. But really you have a unique energy signature. So, like, I can't tell you exactly what to do to manage your rhythms, except for give general advice as to how it works, what the overall structure is. That it is an ebbing and flowing like nature. And so if we can observe, like right now I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we are getting a cold winter. Last week I was down in Southern California and it was still really warm, but the nights were colder. So just those two different places, the climates are very different. My body's desire to interface with reality or to be more drawn in was affected by my environment. So sometimes that's why, taking a break from your environment, going on a trip or moving is really great if you want to shake up your own personal biorhythms. If you are going through a big life change, it can help to be somewhere where that is naturally different. If we want to get out of a pattern and we're seeking greater expression in a certain area of our life, but we stay in the same place, and we stay in the same, everything, same routines, we have a really hard time making that switch over. I'm not saying every time you go through a life change you have to move, unless you feel inclined to, but maybe a trip out of town can help you reset. A weekend in the mountains. And I hear all the time, but I can't afford to do that, or I have my kids, or this and that. Excuses that we give ourselves that seem very valid. I don't have a ride, or I can't afford it. The question is, what is your highest value? What is your highest value? Because this is something the awakening process is going to cause you to come face to face with. Is your highest value your consciousness? Or is it all these other like loyalties to limiting belief patterns? Is your highest value a loyalty to a generational curse, if you will? You know, a curse just really means something that's holding you back. You know, it's holding you back based on what somebody else thought or did. But truly, unless we give it power, and we continue to give it power, if we know about that and we release ourselves and we make new conscious choices, there's absolutely nothing that can hold us back. And that's probably the scariest part for most people, is the recognition of the freedom that lies ahead in the awakening of your consciousness. So, managing our life force energy, as simple as nature, but nature's got quite a complex symphony going on, yeah? All these different time blossoming flowers, different locations of weather, but it is a reflection of us. So if we can just take a lesson from nature in one area of our life, and for me it's just that if I feel like I've been doing a lot, thinking a lot, showing up a lot, being a lot, I have to take the reverse to myself and pull back, and I have to like take a bath or take a day off of being online or go into quiet. And it doesn't have to be forever, just a day or a few hours is enough to pull back so that the flow can happen again. We've got to ebb and flow, right? And we can look at nature and we can be like, well, on a consistent number of nice days, she's been flowing that warm life force hardcore. And we see in some places in the world that results in the possibility for fires, for example. Or if there's so much of water element happening, the possibility of floods or those things happen. And so we can take it back home to us and recognize if we will just be gentle with ourselves, gentler than you were told was okay to be. You know, because the 9-to-5 reality has you believe you don't really have time for yourself. Like, you gotta eat fast, you gotta get back to work, you gotta get home, you gotta do this, you gotta go back tomorrow, do it again. But remember, that's from the old paradigm. That's the death disease paradigm. That's the module that will for sure, unless you're consciously shifting all those things while you're going through them, will for sure result in the old paradigm death reality. So we're at a turning point right now. More and more souls are awake and aware to the fact that we are receiving an inflow of life force energy. The sun, solar bursts, the Schumann's resonance on the earth, all these elements are happening. So that's not to get all hyper and freaked out about. Oh my gosh, I have to know everything and manage everything. It's like, okay, that's happening. That's happening. And I get to vigilantly move and then rest. Move and then rest. You know, if there's a line of people and you're a kid, you might push the line because you want to get the line moving, run into everybody and get to the front, and people are going to be like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? Oh, you're a kid. That's not how you do it, kid. But if you are a mature being, you're going to move with the line and pause. Move with the line, pause. And this can seem like a very robotic, oh, I want to go make my own line and run to the front. That's fine. But your line is also moving that way. The mechanics, if you will, of life kind of do move in a dance-like progression. And there is forward and back, and there is recalibration. The planets go forward, they go back. They go forward. They go forward, they go back, they go forward. We're creating this, you know, quantum reality where you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, and that's bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So to bring it back to simple. I'm sitting here with the sun and life force, and I'm simply going to take it in while it's there. And then when I feel my body say, I think we've had enough sun, I'm not going to go, oh no, I'm just going to force myself to have more sun anyway, 'cause it's good for me. I'm going to just start listening to my body and be like, okay. Sometimes there are discomforts that are good to push through, but I think the biggest one is the discomfort of like really listening to yourself, you know, instead of listening to other people. I mean, you can listen to me because I'm telling you to listen to yourself. That's really all I'm saying is be empowered in who you are. You know. You know when you're getting an influx. You know when you're getting a down sweep. Somewhere in you, you know. So to get to that place where you can authentically feel it and honor it and trust it, that can happen right now. You know, and of course this is an awesome reminder all the time, even for me, for everyone. I'm like, even for me. But really, I mean, I've been studying and like being in this knowing for the last 20 years, and I don't have to stop reminding myself. Maybe it gets easier. It gets less like dramatic and huge. It's just like, yeah, right. And then when the, ebbs out and there's like a void for a minute, or the bank account's empty for a minute, or the people draw away for a minute, or you feel a pain in your body for a minute, you know life is ebbing. And what always follows that? Flowing again. But if we get caught in the ebbing and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm ebbing, everything's ebbing, why am I ebbing? It's almost like we're creating this ripple of an echo, this time loop that's like, oh wait, we like this? We're gonna do this for a minute? Loop, 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 loop. Instead of just in the one breath going, okay, we're ebbing. Surrender. It feels good to just let go and let life take you to zero sometimes. To, for our ego's sake, just let it go. Like, ego doesn't know everything. Thank goodness it doesn't. Gosh, what a boring reality if ego really knew it all and just had it all figured out. This is the game. Every time we get like this crunch point where we're like, oh no, I'm got stopped by the universe, we're gonna be like, oh good. I'm forcibly made to go into pause, to go into surrender, to go into stillness. I'm so lucky right now. I get to nurture myself. I get to be quiet. I get to practice. I like being in the I don't know. Sure, it's fun to think we know all the time, but it's just not real. So, the ebb and the flow, that is actually how the body pulses with blood, right? The electrical pulse, sexual connection, back and forth, breathing in and out, stretch and contract, awake and asleep, eating and non-eating, action, non-action. Take it in, release it. We're this harmonious field of this polarity dancing with itself. And so to honor that in the awakening, that it's not all do, sometimes it's do not. Be. Allow. And that can look like anything. So don't question the universe having its way helping you in this moment. We just get to respond to life's presentation with as much grace and honor as we can. Like it's the part we're playing and we're doing the best job. Even if that's face to the floor. Be your best face to the floor if that's your role right now. love that about you. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the day until it's night, and enjoy the night.